What happens when the most famous entertainer on the planet writes a song that feels less like music and more like a warning? In 1997, Michael Jackson released a track called Morphine, a song so disturbing, so personal, and so brutally honest that the music industry didn't even want it heard. It isn't catchy, it isn't joyful, and it definitely wasn't meant to make you dance. Instead, it sounds like a nightmare you're not supposed to wake up from. A dark message about pain, addiction, and losing control, and if you listen closely, it almost sounds like Michael was trying to tell us something. Section 1. Where Morphine really came from. Most fans first discovered Morphine on Michael Jackson's 1997 album Blood on the Dance Floor, but the song didn't actually originate there. It was recorded years earlier, during the intense studio sessions for History in 1994, when Michael was experimenting with darker topics and more aggressive production. He didn't just sing the track. He wrote, composed, arranged, and produced the entire piece himself, something unusual even for major stars at the time. To push the sound even further, he brought in Slash from Guns N' Roses to deliver gritty, distorted guitar parts and paired them with a dramatic orchestral choir. The result didn't resemble a typical pop anthem at all. From day one, Morphine was built more like a confrontation than a commercial single, as if Michael knew this wasn't music meant to please everyone. But when you actually listen to the song, it becomes clear that it wasn't just its sound that made it risky, it was what it was saying. Section 2. The lyrics and their disturbing message. Unlike most Michael Jackson songs that hide emotion behind metaphors, Morphine barely tries to disguise anything. The lyrics directly reference a hospital-grade painkiller, and Michael repeats the word Demerol like an alarm that refuses to let the listener feel safe. He sings disturbing lines such as, "A heart attack, baby," and "Close your eyes and drift away," which sound less like comfort and more like someone watching themselves lose control. What makes it even darker is how the music behaves like the drug itself. Calm and seductive during the verses, then violently crashing into screaming panic in the chorus. It's as if the song lets the drug speak, seduce, and then destroy. Instead of love, liberation, or joy, Morphine delivers the cold reality of a trap disguised as relief. And if Michael was writing about that trap, the real question is, where did it come from? Section 3. The pressure behind the music. To understand Morphine, you have to look at the emotional war Michael Jackson was living through in the mid-1990s. This was the period when the world wasn't just watching him, it was judging him constantly. Every headline, every rumor, every mistake became international news, and the media treated his personal life like a circus attraction. At the same time, he was expected to stay perfect, perform flawlessly, and remain the symbol of positivity the public demanded. That level of pressure doesn't just exhaust someone physically, it breaks them mentally. For someone already struggling to trust the world around him, painkillers weren't just medicine. They were a shield, a quiet space away from noise, criticism, and eyes that refused to look at him as a human being. Morphine doesn't sound like a celebration or a warning. It sounds like a man trying to escape the weight of being Michael Jackson. But the meaning goes even deeper when you realize the song might not just describe pain, it might be speaking from the drug's perspective itself. Section 4. A battle for control. What makes Morphine unsettling isn't just that it talks about drugs. It shows how easily control can slip away. Michael doesn't sing like someone celebrating relief. He sings like someone who understands that comfort comes with a price. The verses feel slow, warm, and almost hypnotic, like sinking into something that promises peace and safety. But the chorus hits like a violent crash, as if the same comfort suddenly turns into danger. It mirrors the cycle of dependency, escape turning into panic, and relief transforming into regret. Michael isn't glorifying painkillers. He's exposing how they trap you by offering moments of peace while quietly taking power. It's a tug of war between wanting to feel nothing and fearing the loss of control. Morphine doesn't ask for sympathy. It forces you to feel the brutal honesty of someone trying not to disappear. And that makes the production choices even more revealing, because Michael designed the song to sound like that struggle. Section 5. Why the label wouldn't let it be a single. Michael Jackson was known for releasing giant, radio-friendly singles, but Morphine was treated differently from the moment the label heard it. The track was never promoted, never pushed, and never considered for radio rotation. Not because it lacked quality, but because it was too raw. References to hospital drugs, heart failure, and emotional collapse were far from what a mainstream audience expected from Michael. Labels want music that sells, and Morphine sounded more like a confession than entertainment. Releasing it as a single would have forced the public to confront the darker side of a superstar they preferred to see as untouchable, flawless, and always smiling. Instead of risking controversy or headlines that questioned his well-being, the song was quietly tucked into an album packed with remixes, almost like burying it in plain sight. Whether the decision was made to protect Michael's image or to protect their profits, one thing was obvious: Morphine was too uncomfortable to market. But even without radio, music videos, or promotion, the song still found its audience, and it left a lasting mark on those who listened. Section 6. How fans see it today, and its lasting legacy. Years after its release, Morphine has transformed from a hidden track into one of the most revealing pieces in Michael Jackson's catalog. Fans who discover it today don't hear a random experimental B-side. They hear a raw message from someone who spent years living under intense pressure. Online discussions describe it as Michael's unfiltered honesty, a rare moment where he drops the mask the public forced him to wear. Some listeners hear a cry for help, while others interpret it as Michael finally confronting his struggles head-on, taking ownership of a truth the industry tried to mute. Critics now recognize it as one of his most daring works, not for commercial impact, but for its emotional transparency. The legacy of Morphine isn't measured in chart numbers. It's measured in how it humanizes a man people treated like a product. For many fans, the song feels like something Michael left behind on purpose, a message that only those willing to look deeper would ever find. And when a song reveals more than interviews, headlines, or documentaries ever could, it permanently reshapes how we see the artist behind it.